Hey, listen, what I want you to do is I see the comment down there, it's comment section. I want you to leave me a comment. Do it right now. It lets YouTube know that you're engaged in this. So please, everybody who's watching this, leave me a comment, just a heart. Say hi. Leave a little period, a dot. It's still a comment, okay? And I will answer it, okay? So appreciate you doing that and watch it all the way through. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and please share this. It's going to be good, so don't you dare go anywhere, okay? Okay? Let's go. Hey, everyone. Hi. 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 I'm going to read today from The Vicious Female. Don't go anywhere. It's really good. I want you to watch it all the way to the end. I'm going to narrate it myself. I wrote it. It's by Minivan Lee Thomas. And I am dedicating this to all the females who have been attacked by other females. And I'm dedicating it to the men. Okay? This is an important book for you too, because you're women. If you have women in your life, whether it's your mother, your aunt, your grandmother, your sister, your wife, your daughter, your granddaughter, they're going through a lot of this stuff, and it is getting worse. So I felt it important to write this book. Now, I'm going to read from it. You're going to like it. I know you are. I did get something new I want to show you. It's one of those holders for my phone. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it holds my phone. That way my neck isn't always down. I got to make sure that my neck is up. So this is important here. I've got this here. And, oh my gosh, I made you coffee, okay? So I want you to take your coffee or your tea. I want you to sit back and enjoy this book. It's not a horrible book. It's a truth teller, okay? About what's going on, what has gone on for civilizations. But guess what? It is increasing lately. Yeah. Me. Okay. Let me get my voice together, okay? The Vicious Female by Minivan Lee. You don't forget the first time it happens, when you're on the receiving end of something that feels oddly calculated, oddly familiar. It starts with one woman. She's usually the nervous type, tense, insecure, maybe trying too hard. She throws the first jab. It's veiled, subtle, designed to wound, just enough to signal to the others, I've picked my target. And then, like clockwork, the rest of them join in. Suddenly, you're surrounded, not by fist, but by looks, by whispers, by collective silence. You've been voted off the island, but no one said it out loud. You were too confident, too different, too attractive, too old, too young, too honest, too something. They didn't even know why they're doing it. They just want to belong. This is the unspoken war between women. It's not new, but it's growing louder. And it's growing bolder. We like to pretend women are naturally nurturing, that we support each other unconditionally, that we're all in this together. And sure, sometimes we are. But there's another side, one far less cozy and far more dangerous. It's the side that gossips, excludes, sabotages, piles on, tears down, and smiles while doing it. It's not just high school, it's church groups, work meetings, Facebook threads, retirement communities, and YouTube comment sections. Oh, I've seen it. I've lived it. I've watched women shred other women, not for survival, but for sport. One throws the first dart, and the rest line up to take part in the kill. The motivation? Jealousy, insecurity, fear, ego. But mostly, they just want to feel like they're not the one being targeted. That's important. So they join in. That's mob mentality. It's primal, it's ugly, and it's increasing. This book is about that woman, the one who can't stand to see another woman rise, the one who smiles to your face and undermines you behind closed doors, the one who uses her words like weapons and gathers her troops to finish the job. She might not even know why she does it, but you feel the damage just the same. And this book is also about you. If you've ever been attacked, excluded, ganged up on, or falsely accused by a circle of women who should have had your back, I see you, and I've been you, and I'm not sugarcoating any of it. Here's what you'll see in these pages: real studies on female aggression, relational sabotage, and group cruelty. Shocking news stories and documented examples of women turning on each other. Animal behavior research, yes, even the bonobos. My own commentary from decades of watching women tear each other down and occasionally choose something better. We're going to cover why it happens, how it plays out in different stages of life, and what we can actually do about it. I'll show you what mob mentality looks like under a microscope and what it feels like when you're its target. We'll explore everything from the mean girl post-menopause to the teenage brawler, the overweight woman targeting beauty, and the ones who smile while orchestrating a takedown. This isn't a rant, it's an expose. I'm not here to bash women. I'm here to shine a light on the dark corners we'd rather not admit exist. Because until we face it, nothing changes. And it needs to change. Because there are too many women walking around wounded, quietly, privately trying to figure out why they feel so alone in a world that's supposed to be filled with girl power. Let's stop pretending and let's start telling the truth. Chapter 1, Pack Mentality. What is mob mentality? Mob mentality, also known as herd behavior or groupthink, is a phenomenon where individuals abandon personal judgment and adapt to emotions, actions, and beliefs of a group, often leading to irrational, aggressive, and destructive behavior. Once someone becomes part of a collective, they may do or say things they never would as an individual. This includes vilifying others, joining public shaming, or even becoming complicit in bullying, all because everyone else is doing it. Mob mentality can lead to both harmless behaviors, like following fashion trends or cheering at sports events, and harmful outcomes such as violent riots, bullying, or destructive crowd behavior. The phenomenon is influenced by psychological processes like de-individuation, where people lose their sense of individual responsibility when part of a crowd, leading to actions they might not take alone. In summary, mob mentality describes the tendency of people in groups to conform to collective behavior, often overriding their own independent thinking and moral standards. In psychology, it's called de-individuation, a loss of self-awareness and accountability when in a crowd. In sociology, it's been referred to as collective behavior, but in everyday language, we know it as mob mentality. While we tend to associate it with historical riots, angry stadium crowds, or online cancel culture, mob mentality shows up everywhere, including in everyday female relationships. It looks like a group text thread that turns into a takedown. It looks like Facebook groups filled with gossip. It looks like a group of women shunning a friend over a single perceived slight without ever speaking directly to her. So, what is the origin of the term mob mentality? The concept of mob mentality dates back centuries, but the term became academically recognized in the late 19th century thanks to French social psychologist Gustave Le Bon, who published The Crowd, a study of the popular mind, in 1895. Le Bon argued that in a crowd, people lose their sense of self and morality, becoming part of collective consciousness that is irrational, emotional, and primitive. He described how people in mobs act impulsively, often violently, and are driven by suggestion and emotion rather than logic or ethics. Le Bon's ideas were considered radical at the time, but gained traction after events like revolutions, lynchings, and mass riots. Later, scholars like Sigmund Freud and social theorists in the 20th century built upon his work, refining the idea that people in groups shift from I think to we think, and that emotions, not intellect, drive group behavior. Are you liking it so far? I think it's fascinating. We see it on a large scale, and we also see it at times on a personal scale. But while Le Bon focused on political crowds and civil unrest, the principles of mob behavior apply just as powerfully to social mobs, especially among women. These modern-day mobs might not burn down buildings, but they destroy reputations, confidence, and social standing just the same. Female mob mentality, a modern twist. What makes mob mentality among women particularly vicious is the form it takes. It's often relational aggression, a psychological warfare that includes exclusion, rumor spreading, gaslighting, dogpiling, and silent treatment. Unlike overt physical violence, female mobs often use passive-aggressive tools: shame, reputation, damage, character, and assassination, yes. And because it's usually done in whispers or online comments, rather than fist and shouting, it's often dismissed as drama or girl stuff, or, oh, it's a cat fight. Yeah, how many guys end up saying that? Well, guys, this really is for you too, that it isn't just a cat fight. It's serious, and it destroys people's emotions, personalities, and reputations, and their whole mental, emotional capacity. Yes, these are the women in your life that have to go through this. The effects are devastating. Even in adulthood, women often face the pressure to conform to the group or risk being exiled. The desire to belong is so strong, it overrides personal morals. Many women don't want to be the one speaking truth. They want to be the one not being targeted. So they go silent, or worse, they join in. This isn't a female flaw. It's a human instinct amplified by social conditioning and digital culture. But it plays out in especially toxic ways among women due to how we've been trained to survive. Not by strength, but by social acceptance. And when that acceptance is threatened, the claws come out. So these are some of the studies about mob mentality. Understanding the psychological mechanisms that drive mob mentality is crucial to comprehending how individuals can engage in behaviors that might typically avoid. Several seminal studies have shed light on this phenomenon. Number 1, Gustave Le Bon theory of Crowd Psychology, 1895. In his seminal work, The Crowd, a study of the popular mind, French social psychologist posited that individuals in a crowd lose their sense of self and become susceptible to the collective consciousness. He argued that this loss of individuality leads to a decrease in personal responsibility and an increase in impulsive behavior. His theory laid the foundation for understanding how group dynamics can override personal morals and ethics. Solomon Asch's Conformity Experiments from 1951. Solomon Asch conducted experiments to investigate the extent to which social pressure from a majority group could influence a person to conform. In his study, participants were asked to match line lengths. Oh, I remember studying this, yeah. And Confederates in the group intentionally gave incorrect answers. In a study, the Confederates are the ones who are totally in on the study, okay? So they intentionally gave incorrect answers. The results showed that a significant number of participants, those are the ones who have no idea that there's a study going on, they conformed to the incorrect majority, highlighting the power of group pressure on individual judgment. This experiment underscores how individuals may conform to group norms, even when they conflict with personal beliefs. And I believe in the studies that they were they were obvious things. Like which line, they had lines, so which line is longer? I mean, that's obvious. But a large percentage of the participants, the ones that didn't know that this was a study, agreed with incorrect answers from the Confederates. I mean, you could see in the study, you could see, like they videotaped it, you could see that they were confused, like, why are they doing that? But they went along with it, just to be part of the group. Okay. Number 3, individuation theory. Developed by social psychologists like Leon Festinger and Philip Zimbardo. De-individuation theory suggests that individuals in groups may experience a loss of self-awareness and a diminished sense of personal responsibility. This state can lead to behavior that is uncharacteristic and often more aggressive or deviant. Factors contributing to individuation include anonymity, group size, and arousal. So things change under those factors. In the context of female groups, this theory helps explain how individuals might participate in collective behaviors like gossiping, ostracizing, actions they might avoid when alone. Emotional contagion in groups. Okay, that's number 4. Emotional contagion refers to the phenomenon when individuals in a group can catch emotions from one another. This is interesting, leading to a homogenization of emotional states. Research indicates that this can amplify group behaviors, as shared emotions can reinforce group norms and actions. In female groups, emotional contagion can play a role in escalating situations where shared feelings of resentment or jealousy can lead to collective actions against a perceived outsider. Yeah, it's like it's contagious. Once the group gets going, it grows. It's like a contagion. Number 5, behavioral contagion and social learning. Behavioral contagion involves the spread of behaviors through a group, often without conscious awareness. This concept is closely linked to social learning theory, which posits that individuals learn behaviors by observing and imitating others. In group settings, especially among females, behaviors like exclusion or passive-aggressive actions can spread as individuals mimic the actions of influential group members to gain acceptance or avoid becoming targets themselves. I went through that in May. I know a lot of you know that, and this is exactly what happened. These studies collectively illustrate the powerful influence of group dynamics on individual behavior. They provide a framework for understanding how mob mentality can manifest in female groups, leading to actions that individuals might not undertake independently. Let's talk about the triggers. Let me get a drink here. Mob mentality doesn't come out of nowhere. It brews from a perfect storm of psychological triggers, emotional chaos, and social pressure. People like to think they're independent thinkers, but put them in a crowd, especially one charged with emotion, and that individuality melts faster than ice on asphalt. Suddenly, they're shouting things they'd never say alone, agreeing with ideas they don't fully believe, or silently going along with something that feels wrong just to avoid feeling targeted and being part of the group. At the core of this is our craving to belong. Social identity theory explains that people shape their sense of self based on the groups they're in. So when the group starts moving in a certain direction, many just follow because disagreeing could get you excluded. And let's be honest, humans are terrified of rejection. A dirty look, being cut off from the in crowd, or worse, becoming a new target is enough to keep most people quiet, even when the group is dead wrong. Now, add anonymity to the mix. In a crowd, especially online, people feel invisible. That lack of accountability gives them permission, at least in their minds, to behave badly. It's the classic, no one will know it was me syndrome. They'll vandalize, harass, smear, or cancel with zero shame. The guilt gets diluted across the group, so no one really feels responsible. It's a psychological game of hot potato, and everyone thinks someone else is holding the blame. Then there's emotional contagion. One person panics or lashes out, and the whole group catches it like a cold. Fear, anger, and outrage spread instantly, and logical thinking gets shoved into the trunk. The louder the group, the dumber the decisions. Emotions override reason. Oh, I know that, because that's what happened. Yeah, emotions overrided any kind of reason when it came to the situation I dealt with in May this year, 2 months ago. And before long, people are doing things they'll later say, I don't know what came over me. Well, a mob came over you, that's what. You were part of the mob. And there's no denying that. And there's no getting away from it. In tight-knit or like-minded groups, opinions don't just echo, they intensify. It's called group polarization. What starts as a mild opinion can escalate into something extreme because everyone's feeding off each other's energy and beliefs. Nobody's challenging the narrative. It's a feedback loop, of agreement. And that's where things can get dangerous fast. This isn't just child's play here, everybody. Let's not forget mental shortcuts. When chaos breaks out, people stop thinking critically. Let me take the keys out of my pocket. They're sticking out weird. There we go. Whew. Whew. Are you enjoying this? Leave in comments, okay? I want you to leave a comment. Do it right now, okay? Even if it's hi, okay? Let's not forget mental shortcuts. When chaos breaks out, people stop thinking critically. Instead, they follow whoever looks like they know what they're doing or yelling the loudest. It's herd mentality. It's easier to go along than pause and assess the facts. Add in confirmation bias, where people only seek out info that backs up their group's viewpoint. And you've got a crowd operating in a sealed bubble of delusion. Yeah, that's what happened to me. They knew the truth, but once they got started, they couldn't stop. It was an energy, and they were riding the wave. The situation matters too. A lack of structure, a toxic leader, or isolation from outside perspectives all make groupthink worse. And when you toss in real-world fuel like injustice, joblessness, and a long-standing culture of resentment, that crowd isn't just emotional, they're ready to explode. But here's the thing, mob mentality isn't unstoppable. Awareness is power. Teaching people how to think critically, building bridges between different perspectives, and creating environments where disagreement doesn't equal exile. These are the anecdotes. It's possible to harness the energy of groups for good. But first, we have to understand just how easy it is for that energy to be hijacked. Mob behavior isn't some rare anomaly. It's human nature, unchecked. And if you don't recognize it when it's happening, you just might find yourself swept up in it, wondering later how you became part of the problem. I'm sure a lot of the gals are thinking that right now. Yeah. There were some in that instance that with what happened in May. There were some that literally were coming over and saying, I tried to tell them, and then they said, we've left that group because they're not even thinking properly. They're not even thinking rationally. They know the truth, but they're so caught up in it they can't stop saying the lies. Yeah. So that is the anecdote for it. Somebody has to stand up and say, hey, this is not right, which is one of the reasons I wrote this book, okay? Next is my commentary, what it feels like when the mob comes after you, because they did. But I'm going to stop here, okay? Well, when I get back to this book, I'll read this part. We'll start up with this part, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this. I like doing these readings. This is my book, The Vicious Female, and women on women attacks, mentally and physically. Now, what's happening a lot in our society right now is they're not just emotional, mental abuse. They're actually really physically violent now. It's becoming that. So I think it's important to address this. This is a really good book. It's on Amazon. It's on ebook and it's paperback. Just type in, I've got the link in comments and also in the video description. But also what you can do is just type in Minivan Lee Books and I'll come up on Amazon. And it's not expensive. So, till next time. Tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow. And I'll have a different subject for you. It won't be a reading, okay? I think I'll do readings every other day. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this. I do love you guys a lot. So please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And share this, okay? I love you. Mwah. Love you. See you tomorrow. Okay. Good coffee.